Hey, welcome back. It's Josh at Sanders Street Rods. I've got an update on the Charger build. Brian spent most of the day getting all this plumbing for the Hydro Boost and power steering and everything wrapped up. The Hydro Boost is mounted under the floor. It's a whole system that we built for this car that cleaned up the firewall a whole bunch and does kind of like a race style under floor mount pedal system, which is gonna look pretty sweet. But that created a bunch of plumbing we needed to get done. So I've been fabbing up the aluminum inner fenders, got to a point where we can attach all of our lines and everything and route them away from the tire to the inner fender. This little flange is a good opportunity to mount all this stuff off of because it's not exposed, and that's where the lower panel will fasten to it. We got to be really careful because these massive tires basically almost kiss the frame on the front and the back. So like everything is tucked as far away as we can and just in the right spot. There's pretty much one place all this stuff can go. But you can also see how we utilized our 3-place line clamps to splay all this stuff out really nice. 2-place here and just kind of keeps it all lined up as best we can. We have a couple spots where like we have to cross, which drives us nuts, but there's just nothing you can do about it at some point. Here you can see this is our engine oil cooler. We've got some covers coming for that Derek sent out to Send to have laser cut with louvers on them and everything. Lots of hoses. This car's got a ton of plumbing in it, but it's looking really good. This all goes up front to the reservoir. More details about this, that this is an Art Morrison chassis. We've got double adjustable strange coilovers on all 4 corners, big sway bar up front in this thing. The chassis is basically a wheelbase track width from Morrison because these cars weren't originally a frame-off type car, they were all unibodies. So we had to cut the entire floor out of this car and make all of the new body mounts. We decided to leave it a body on frame type construction. I liked the ability to isolate the body from the frame a little bit and the ability to take it apart so that we could finish everything really nicely. That's how we went about doing this build and frame. So soon, we're almost to a point now of prefab and everything. The engine's already been run. It's already been pre-wired. The harness has been built, all the bulkheads for the wiring and everything. Everything's unplugged and taken back apart. We're wrapping up a lot of fab work right now. The body will actually come off the frame. We can do all the paint work on the frame, paint the underside of the body, and bolt it back together before final fit and blocking on the body. I really like doing it that way because it eliminates the possibility for any little movements. We're dealing with really tight gaps, really fine tolerances. So if we can lock this thing on the frame, do all of our final fit and body work, put it back together without the body moving at all, it just helps us immensely for final assembly, especially having everything already prefabbed. Every hose has been crimped. Every line's had fluid in it. This thing's been run, moved around. It's all been there. So after it's painted, it's gonna be a matter of assembling it as if it was more or less an assembly line car, just with a little bit more attention to detail. There's been an incredible amount of thought that's gone into this project. Basically, when we started, I mean, just under here, for example, these inner fenders were, not this inner fender, but the inner fender that was originally in this car is all tied into the unibody. So that had to be cut out to clearance for all this suspension. But when that's removed, now we need a place to mount the fenders again. So you can see all this bar and all these brackets and everything that we built. This houses more lines and wiring as it runs across. That's just the mounting position for the fender. So when we remove the entire unibody structure, all that stuff has to be added back, and it has to be added back in the right spot. So there's a constant back and forth of doing fit work on these projects that isn't necessarily glorious or fun to look at, but it's essential because we've cut everything out of there and now we have to make it a car again and make it look really good. Like the core support was basically a part of the unibody. So we have to figure out how and where to locate the radiator in relation to everything else too. And now we're doing the Hellcat. So adding the engine oil cooler and the LTR cooler. I really wanted those to vent to the wheel wells. I've always liked the way Porsche does that, how they've got like louvers right here in their stock cars that vent their coolers. It's a great design because it keeps all that heat out of the engine bay. So that was kind of a design element from early on that I really wanted to stick with. The core support comes and then angles a little bit. And that angle gave us a little bit more room to put an adequate cooler. This engine oil cooler is probably overkill. The way the louvers are gonna be done, we're actually gonna set it up to where we can bend them as necessary, so not to overcool the oil, because that is also kind of an issue. It could be an issue. The other side with the LTR cooler, more cooling the better. I mean, we can keep that supercharger cold. That's always a good scenario. On this side, we've got the LTR cooler and the pump and the reservoir and everything that goes with it. So all that stuff is mounted on that tube. These are our stackable line clamps that we use here, which this is just hanging here right now, but those work really well. It kind of puts the 4 hoses in a square shape, which is really nice. It's compact and just bulks them all together and keeps it flowing. Our LTR reservoir, it's obviously tucked up in here. We kind of we didn't want to get it super low and get a bunch of air trapped in it or vice versa. We wanted it basically at the top of the fill, which is on the back of the supercharger. So it kind of had to go in here. I didn't really want to see it. This worked out well. And what we did is put a little sight tube on the back side of it. So you actually open up the door, shine in with a flashlight to see the level of the supercharger coolant. I like that kind of stuff. Brian did a really nice job getting all that done. More plumbing, 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 all this plumbing, plumbing for the cooler, plumbing for the air conditioning, plumbing out front. I mean, on and on and on. Brian's kind of the plumbing master on this car. Yeah, lucky for him. It's all looking really good. We use this Brown & Miller, their AC line of hoses. It's all crimped. I have never had one of these fittings leak. Since we started using them a few years ago, it's just been like, there's always like that initial twist on fittings, one of them's leaking, and it's a problem, and we're completely done with it. So it's really nice, high quality stuff. Okay, we're now in the engine bay, and this is that core support that I was talking about. That we had to fabricate completely from scratch. It's tube, it's got a slight arc in it here. It just kind of worked out that way. That's kind of the shape of the hood a little bit, allowed this panel to flow and arc a little bit too. And this is all stuff we scratch built. PWR radiator, we got our condenser up here. And the LTR cooler is in this area. The engine oil cooler is in this area. They're both kind of at an angle, which gave us a little bit more room for the cooling. This is like actually the stock hood support bracket that we extended onto because we retained the stock latch. It had a big secondary that was on the hood, and it came down and hooked around this, but I hit my head on it twice, and I was kind of like, all right, this thing needs to go away. No, but it was ugly already. It didn't flow with everything else. So Derek and I stared at this thing, trying to figure out how we could come up with a secondary without having to completely reinvent the wheel, and kind of work with what was there just to streamline it, because it's just not something we need to spend a bunch of time on. We actually built this bracket that tied into the stock latch. It works off the same lever and provides that secondary latch and the primary at the same time. So this arm was extended a little bit to run down into the grill, but it just worked trick. It was like, Derek machined this because it's got a little step in it, it's got to fit right. And then I welded it on, and it was like, boom, solution without having to get too crazy. And then obviously trimmed out around this all on the panel that I shaped for it. You can see the 2 reservoirs, power steering and radiator overflow. We've got some really cool billet caps that Derek made for those two, recessed into this aluminum panel. All these panels will come out independently. So this panel unbolts from here, take this off, these come off, fasteners under here that fasten all this. There's some screws up here that are on slots that slide over. So everything can be taken off. It's very serviceable. And that's how we always think about this stuff, because the reality is we're the ones that are gonna have to be working on it. So if we gotta get back in there, I don't want it to be a total pain. Another trick thing that we did, getting rid of the big springs. I think the spring on this one was here, that popped the hood initially when you undo the latch. Wanted to get rid of those there again, just to clean it up. We also needed to add stoppers. So when the hood comes down and goes onto the latch, it needs to have a definitive spot to stop so we can maintain a level across the hood to the fender. So we needed to create a popper to pop it and a stopper to stop it as it's coming down, basically. This is a spring-loaded popper. I kind of did a similar trick on the Black 59 Corvette that we did years ago now. The stopper comes down, pushes on this, it bottoms out, that's what creates the height, and then you pop the hood and it pops it up. But I thought it'd look cool. It's kind of like a dimple die, and I'm gonna put a little pad of rubber on there, so it's not gonna look like anything. And then this will be spring loaded. So that turned out pretty cool. I'm excited to see that all finished and kind of see how hidden it is. How many hours do you think I spent right here?
Too many. Well, actually,
a lot.
Too many.
A lot. That's not clamped. That's kind of dirty. I'm gonna clamp it. There we go. Now I'll be happy with it. The engine bay design was kind of initially started with Tavis Highlander. You can see my little notes here. Originally, so the engine was pushed back like 6-8 inches from where we originally had placed it. The reason for that is Randy wanted the engine to be under the stock hood. When we pushed the engine back, it allowed us to, one, drop the oil pan over the crossmember a little bit. The hood is shaped, it's at a slope. So farther we go back, the more room we have to the ground, basically to the top of the hood. That worked out really well to give us that clearance, and the bottom of the car is just flat. Like, I'm not gonna hang that oil pan way down and have it catching on stuff. But it created a lot more work. You can see this shape on the firewall, how far back. I mean, the cowl used to go straight across here. And the engine, so there's that 6-8 inches that I was talking about. So when it was pushed back, we had two options. We wanted to get rid of the cowl vent, or the cowl venting, not like a 30s cart with a vent. So I had to fabricate the entire firewall, I had to fabricate an entire new cowl, which worked out good because we have the flush mount glass. That kind of had to change shape for a little bit. And I wanted to be able to service the engine. There again, it's serviceability. So if the cowl went over the top like this, we would not have been able to get the supercharger out. We wouldn't have been able to get the engine out without taking everything apart. But it kind of led like form and function, how they go together to make really good design, in my opinion. It worked out really well because it gave this cool shape as the gap comes off the door. It's got basically the same radius I matched as it goes here and flows into there. Now you have the same shape that goes off, extends off the back of the hood. So it's kind of unassuming, but it's super functional for what was in place and what we were trying to do with it. When you open the hood too, this back part of the hood actually drops down, which is just like a cool look. I don't know. I've always liked that, like on an old Corvette when the front drops down for some reason. It's just kind of unique. Spent a lot of time thinking about this car. Standing in the shower, that's what everybody's like. The time you spend standing in the shower thinking about the car. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. It's been going on for a couple years now. But no, I'm stoked about this car. It's just, there's a lot of things that have had to happen just because what the build was slated to be from the beginning. I mean, when you go cutting out a floor of a car and you want to put 345s under the back and a Hellcat that fits under the hood, it's like, okay, just to achieve that is immense for one. And then to make it look really good and make it SEMA worthy and presentable is another element of it too. So combining those two is pretty sweet. All this inner fender, so Tavis initially designed all that. And because the engine was pushed back so far, it left this huge space up here, which in some sense is kind of awkward. It's kind of cool because like, boy, we've almost got the front of the crank is almost behind the center line of the tire. So it almost is officially mid-engine, but we didn't quite make it. We would have had to get rid of the back seat. It left this huge void right here. And initially I was kind of pushing to leave it open because I don't know, honestly, it felt more difficult to leave it open and have it look really good. And that was kind of my direction. So that's how Tavis drew it up. He did a great job adding some details to it. But the reality is it looks better like this. It just wasn't the right decision. I felt a little skepticism from the owner, and other people that I would talk about were kind of like, I don't know. I could tell that they weren't totally into it, and they were right. It wasn't the right thing to do. I'm happy we did it this way. It also kind of simplified all that plumbing again that had to go in the front of this. It looks good, it's clean, it's thought out, but if we had to make it look like this, it would have been extremely challenging, way more difficult. So I changed that from Tavis's rendering, but I tried to also retain a lot of it. You know, he had a bead detail here. It was on the top of the radiator that I really like. These lines kind of flow, like this line flows into the inner fender. But the way I did it too, and it goes right over the top of the headlight. So I really like how when you open the hood and you stand back and look at it as a whole with the grille, it looks like it was all planned out. Like this line starts from the inside of the headlight and it flows and turns into this, and it gets taller and shorter and transitions into this curve and then goes all the way off into the firewall. So this arc on the top of the inner fender is actually the same arc that's on the top of the fender. So there again, kind of just trying to make it look like an extension of the fender. So this arc and this arc are the same. There's also a slight curve here in this direction that is the same as the curve on the outer part of the fender. So when the hood's open, you know, maybe nobody ever notices that. Maybe they notice it subconsciously, I don't know, but something that we have the ability to do, being that it's all scratch built. It's just kind of decisions if you think about it thoroughly enough along the way. But I really like working with aluminum on inner fenders and stuff. It's more difficult in some ways, easier in other ways. There's also a really cool bead detail I've always wanted to have a car where I build the firewall and I build the inner fender. Okay, there needs to be a line that like carries all the way across. So this line just drawn in Sharpie right now is just gonna be a simple step bead, but it ties into the firewall and then it goes all the way across the engine and comes into the other side, or across the firewall and then comes into the other side, which is just another thing. It's like, we have to build firewall, we have to build inner fenders. Why not make it look like they were one-off and built to fit together? Then of course we've got the coil covers that Derek machined. Well, this screen's just taped in there right now, but this is all billet. This is carbon fiber that was laser cut. This is a separate piece that's got the badge on it. That's my little tape mark. I thought we would maybe name this car the Supercharger, but it sounds kind of corny. And then these are screens. We've got a post on Instagram that kind of shows the jig that was made for those. Like I said, they're falling down right now because they're just taped in there, but they've actually pressed around all this stuff. So That thing all painted and Cerakoted, and it's gonna look sweet. It's gonna really tie in good. Covers up all the coils, helps us hide some of the wiring. These are also nuts. I've never used these. Brown & Miller makes these radiator hoses with the Wiggins on the ends. So this is literally a crimped radiator hose with quick disconnect double O-ring ends on it. They do like a lot of like sprint cars and stuff. Sprint cars, Formula One is like their primary market. Totally overkill on this, but like way better than a piece of rubber and a hose clamp. You can also see it's really dirty down there, but there's more of our stackable line clamps down there. We had to unfortunately do a couple of crossovers here, but those worked out great. It's a cross member right there that we're able to bolt right down to and just oriented them good. Just stock Hellcat. 707 horsepower is what they say, which would be plenty for the car. Probably be scary if you're not careful with it. I know it's great. It's a stock ECU. There wasn't any reason to go any farther with it. It's a great platform. I like to keep OE on a lot of stuff, to be honest. I think reliability is really important to me, and they put a lot of effort in R&D. I mean, those OE manufacturers spend millions of dollars making all of these parts work together. Granted, you can make aftermarket stuff work great, but just like, why not? Is kind of my opinion on it for a lot of this stuff. Like, I've never had to screw with a stock crate LS engine with a Chevrolet computer or a Mopar or a Ford. Like, it's just, you don't have to mess with them. So it's not there's plenty of other things to mess with on this car. Oh, I don't have any fasteners. Hardeners, why do I keep saying hardeners? I was looking for this clear coat hardener earlier.
I was gonna say, I think you were painting too much.
Yeah, no, I didn't paint it all today. Oh. I must have just been smelling it. Why am I holding my breath? I just have like so many thoughts.
Yeah,
like,
I think you're thinking too much and forgetting the basic bodily functions.
I'm like trying to not smile because my freaking lip is still, I can't believe it.